Oh my goodness, look at this mess. I had an idea for today's video, but I have to find the object that I was thinking about using. All right, so actually the object that I'm looking for is actually an old tackle box. It's actually my great grandpa's tackle box. And there's a lot of different lures in there, a lot of old antiques and stuff like that. I've went through the tackle box before, but I also, whenever I went through it before, I didn't know as much about all the antique lures. I've looked into them some since then, and now we're gonna go through it and see what's in there. And if you guys enjoy this episode, we'll go out and we'll fish with some of them, which is kind of scary because I'm pretty sure that a lot of those are worth a lot of money. Like they could be worth like $50 to $100, some of them. So I'll use them though. I'll use them in a video if you guys do enjoy this. So make sure you hit that like button and leave me a comment down below. And also if you guys have anything to say about these lures that I find in this tackle box, be sure to comment down below because you guys probably know way more about these than I do. So go ahead and help me learn more about these as well. So it's not in here. We already looked at these drawers. That's my sister's. A bunch of old plastics. Not in here. Uh-oh. I see it. This is it. This is it. Oh, where's the handle? Where's the handle? Oh, this is it right here. This is my great grandpa's tackle box. Here's a little sneak peek. There you go. That's all you get to see for right now. We're gonna take this inside, get a towel so that way we can lay these lures out, not scratch them or anything. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at these and we're gonna see what's in here. All right, so I'm at the kitchen table now. Got a little towel so we can lay everything out. I do have this light right here too. You can see I got this light. That way we can see everything a little bit better. I wanna make sure we can see everything the best color possible. But let's go ahead and get this thing cracked open. Whew, there's a lot of stuff in here. I think this is all like mostly like brim lures and stuff. These may be bass lures. This actually looks like squirrel hair. That sounds weird, but this really does look like squirrel hair. And actually, hold on, let's see there. Yeah, so these MEP spinners are actually made with squirrel hair. And I do know that because I used to use these like all the time. So this could possibly be the same brand and it could be squirrel hair. That's what it looks like. That's pretty cool though. This is super big compared to the MEP spinner, as you can tell. So you're definitely not gonna catch a brim on this one. You can on this one, but that's definitely probably a bass lure. I wanna get into the bass stuff, but we'll still look at a couple more of these things. This is almost like a little trout. There's a bunch of spinners. They're all tangled up in here pretty bad. Yeah, we got a couple little trout lures and some stuff like that. This is just your typical brim stuff. Nothing that's really like super striking. There's actually a lot of stuff in here, so I'm just gonna go through like the things that kind of catch my eye. Kind of like this bad boy right here. Look at this. This is like a hollow body worm. Like seriously, it's a hollow body worm. Because there's air in this pocket, which got a hook like a frog hook. It says something on here, I can't, snag proof. That's the same people that make a frog. So this might be a topwater lure, I'm not really sure. There is a little weight right here at the front, but snag proof does make snag proof frogs. And this is a hollow body, so I don't know, that's interesting. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. We'll save these for last. Let's go ahead and open up these trays. Oh yes. There is the bass lures. There's so many different cool things in here. First thing that catches my eye is definitely gonna be this one. These two are just square bills. They're old. This one's got some messed up paint on it. I'm not really sure what brand they are. Both of them I really don't know. They don't say any. Oh, this one does. This says Big O. This is a Big O square bill. I've never heard of it, but anyways, those are just square bills, but let's go look at this thing. This actually, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to look like a little like crappie or crappie, however you want to say it, because it's got a little bit of a black back to it and it's the same shape. And I think that's what it is. And actually a lot of the time when the crappie get on beds, then the bass go up and eat them shallow. And I know that a lot of people would kind of like cue in on that, especially at the lakes and stuff. So this could be a good lure for that time. I just don't know because it dives so deep, but that's really cool. I'm sure it's probably hand painted. Not really sure. There's no sort of name on here or anything, but that's a really cool crankbait. I've never fished with one like this ever. All right, moving on. Number 2. This is an antique, but they still make these actually. This is called a devil's horse. This is a prop bait, and I actually have used these before to catch fish. So this would be easy to catch fish on if we did fish with these lures, because I still use this. It's a great topwater bait. It's great around grass, and it's just great overall. It's way different than what fish usually see, and it's been used for the past 50 years and is still being used, so it has to catch fish definitely. So that is a devil's horse right there, just a topwater prop bait. Moving on down the line, this looks like some sort of crankbait. I honestly have no idea what this is. It's got a bill, but it's a weird looking bill, and it's also got like a clasp, almost like a swivel almost. It's also got a blade on the back of it, which is really cool. I feel like that could actually work, but I have never seen a lure shaped this way before. It's very weird. So if anybody knows what this is, leave me a comment down below, and I want to figure out what this is. It might be worth some money. I have no idea. There's a little bit of paint missing, so I guess they caught some fish on this one. My great-grandpa probably definitely caught some fish on it, so that's pretty cool. I think there's actually a couple more of these in here. I saw one down there whenever we first opened it up, but let's keep going. Let's keep going, looking at some different stuff. All right, we're gonna have to squeeze this one out of the back here. Oh, there we go. Okay, this is another topwater prop bait. This is a Head-In, or yeah, that's how you say it, Head-In baby torpedo. And this is almost like a translucent, and it's kind of cool. I mean, I like it. I feel like it could definitely work. It's gonna have to be the perfect conditions because it's so translucent, but that prop on the back of it could definitely work really good. And it's very similar to this devil's horse. It's just a little bit smaller and a little bit more thick. So that's definitely a cool lure right there. Moving on, we're going to go to these. I think these things might be called like Stanleys or something. I've seen a lot of people use these before. Let's see what it says. It says something on here. Little George, that's what it says. It says Little George. These things are super heavy. I'm pretty sure these weigh like 3/4 of an ounce or an ounce. And a lot of people throw these at schooling fish, I'm pretty sure. All it is it's just, I'm gonna see if I can get them apart. All it is just a lead weight. It's painted, it's got a hook on it. It's got a big blade on the back, so whenever you're reeling it in, that blade is just moving in the back. So it's supposed to be pretty good for schooling fish. I've never actually caught a fish on one, but I know a lot of people do still throw these, so I'm not sure if they still make them or if people just use them because they've had them in their tackle boxes, or I'm not sure, but these things definitely do catch fish. We're going to bump it on down a row, and we're going to go in right here with our first lure. And right here, we actually have a jitterbug. They still make these. This is the bigger version of the jitterbug. It's actually pretty big. Look at that hook right there. Oh my goodness, that thing is ginormous. And a lot of this paint is faded off, or it's covered up with some sort of dirty white. I think that's actually the clear coat peeling off, probably. But this looks like a pretty cool color. It's almost like a tiger pattern or something, but it's pretty cool. This is just a topwater lure for those of you who don't know. A lot of people have thrown these before, and it kind of just moves like this kind of in the water, and this front blade acts like a paddle, and it kind of just like scoops up the water and moves. But they definitely work, could definitely catch a fish on this. I have caught fish on a jitterbug before. Moving on right here, we've got another crankbait type lure, the same type of blade. I think this is supposed to be like a crawfish imitation because of the colors and because it's backwards. If you guys didn't know, crawfish actually swim backwards with their tail first. So this, if you think about it, if it was moving, then it would be like a crawfish moving backwards. So I'm assuming this is probably what it's supposed to imitate. I've never thrown this. It looks cool. The colors are nice on it. So it's got a lot of paint chipped off. It might have caught some fish before, who knows? But it's definitely very similar to this lure right here. They're both very similar. Right here, we've got a jerkbait. This is actually a two-piece jerkbait. I guess you would call it segmented jerkbait is what you would call it. And I think this is probably either a Rapala or I think you'd call it Smithwick. One of the two. There's no lettering on here that I can visibly see, but this color could definitely work. I feel like I could definitely catch a fish on this. I know a couple guys who I've seen throwing these before, especially in a smaller version, and they've caught plenty of fish on them. So I think this could definitely, oh my goodness, this could definitely catch some fish. And the paint on it is still pretty good and everything's nice and shiny. I think it could definitely work pretty good. This right here is probably the coolest lure in the whole entire box. So I'm gonna wait and we're gonna look at this one last because this one is definitely the coolest. So we're gonna go ahead and skip over it and we're gonna go right here. This is just a little jig. It almost looks the same as like a new jig, except for the brush guard is different. It's not like most of your new jigs now where there's multiple. This one just has 2. And this skirt is also like very sticky and feels like it could rip at any second. But that jig could probably still catch a fish if we put some sort of trailer on there and threw it out there. I'm sure we could probably catch something on this jig. Back here, we got a little crankbait, little chartreuse blackback crankbait. And this one is kind of nasty. You can tell it looks kind of wet. I think the clear coat is like coming off, or the paint is or something. Maybe from heat. I'm not really sure what made it do that. Or maybe it was hand painted. I'm not sure. It says LM on it. LM3, that's what it says, LM3. Whatever that means, I'm not really sure. But that's a cool color. Definitely a cool color. I've never thrown a crankbait with that sort of color on it. Well, that pattern. But this color definitely works good in muddy water, which I've got a lot of that right now because everything is all muddy from the rain lately. So might have to go take that one out for a spin. All right, we're gonna go ahead and go through the bottom. I said I would do this last. I kind of lied because I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna do this lure very last, but we're gonna go ahead and go through down here. Gotta be careful, this is a sharp object. We actually have a fillet knife right here. You can tell it's a fillet knife because it can easily bend. And back whenever my great grandpa was growing up, a lot of people, if they caught any size fish, they would just never throw it back. I heard a lot of stories of my grandpa telling me, my grandma telling me, a lot of people telling me that if you caught fish, you would always keep them because that's how you fed your family. And now a lot of the times we just go drive to the grocery store. Most people are used to that. But back whenever our grandparents were growing up, if they could go catch a fish, then that's what they would eat for dinner that night. So that's why this fillet knife was in this tackle box, because I'm sure that my great grandpa, whenever he caught a fish, whether that be a bass, a brim, a crappie, whatever it may be, I'm sure that he definitely took it home to go feed all of his kids, because that's just what happened back then. Everybody now talks bad about eating bass, but I'm sure if they were hungry back then, and if you were hungry now and you caught a bass, you would definitely eat it. So that's the reason why this fillet knife is in the tackle box. Since we went ahead and pulled this out, we'll go ahead and pull out the other tool in here. This is actually an old pair of pliers. And these are very different. They're silver, they're very long, and they're very thin at the end. It's not like your typical pair of needle nose pliers. These are actually Sears pliers. So that's pretty cool. A lot of people, to my understanding, back in the day, I'll say back in the day, would go to Sears, or you can order it out of Sears and Roebuck. Sears and Roebuck catalog. I'm pretty sure you could order stuff out of there. I'm pretty sure it was by phone, or maybe you had to go into a store and order it. I'm not really sure how that worked, but you could order it through the catalog and you could get certain things. So I'm sure that that's probably how these pliers were gotten. And I bet you there has been hundreds of fish unhooked with these things. There's probably a lot of history. If only all these lures and tools could tell a story. That would be so awesome to just sit here and listen to them tell us what they've been through. That would be so cool. I think this is the stuff that's gonna be worth a good bit because it's in the packaging. This one does look a little messed up. It's very white on the inside. I think the clear coat is just gone. But this is called a Pike Master. You can see it right there on the bottom, Pike Master. But I'm not really sure if people would just use these for bass or if it was just for pike or what it was, but it's in here, it's in the box. I'm not gonna take it out because if there's any seal or anything, I don't wanna bust it. So we're just gonna set that over here to the side. And here's another one right here. This is actually a devil's horse, but it is packaged. This package has not been broken. You can see the plastic is still on here. So I'm sure this is probably worth a good bit. You can see right here, it says Smithwick's Devil Horse Lures. So there we go. There's a devil's horse inside there. Again, I'm not gonna take it out because then it's just gonna lose all the value. Plus we already have one right here that's already taken out, and I think these are the same color actually. So if I did need to, I would definitely take it out and use it. But I think that we are going to keep this in the box just because it's an antique. Here's another one out of the bottom. I think that this box can actually be opened. This looks like a jerkbait. I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. There we go. Ooh, this thing looks pretty juicy, I'm not gonna lie. This is actually a cotton cordell. I'm pretty sure it says cordell, so I'm assuming that's cotton cordell. And it's a nice chrome color with a black back. That's what I like to throw in a lot of my jerk baits. And it looks like perfect condition. This is probably the first or second time it's been taken out of this box. And apparently this is the Redfin Series 800 and is a 4 3/8 inch lure. And it actually gives you instructions on how to fish it, which that doesn't happen in your lure boxes now. You kind of just have to YouTube it, but that's pretty cool. That is an awesome lure right there. All right, so we got this little tiny crankbait. I got it out of the plastic, and it is a white with black on it, which is a very interesting color. And it's brand new, it's never been used before, definitely. And it's like the same style lure as this one right here and this one right here, because it's got that same bill. We definitely have to take one of these out and test one out. So everybody comment if you want to see me test some of these lures out, because I really want to do it, but I'm not gonna do it unless you guys want me to. But that is a really cool lure, really cool pattern. It almost reminds me of a cow or something, so that's pretty cool. We're actually gonna stick that, I'll put it in here if it fits, because this plastic is a little bit shredded. So we wanna make sure it's protected, so we'll keep it right there. All right, now we're gonna go over here to where these little side hangers are. These are big square bills. They're actually very long. This is a good color. It's a chartreuse with like a brown back, something like that. And it's really cool. It's a huge crankbait though. For a square bill, it is actually massive. You can see it in comparison to my hand. I'm not really sure if, I'm sure you could catch a bass, but it's probably gonna have to be a big one to catch it on this. So, I don't know. It would be interesting to see if a bass would actually eat this thing. This one is really cool. This bill is very interesting. It's like a circle. And this is very flat-sided. This is like a flat-side crankbait. And it's a chartreuse with black back and a little bit of a black face too. Really cool color pattern, but just, it's very interesting. I wonder what the action is like on this. It's either gonna be very tight, I feel like, or super wide. So I'm not really sure which one, but that is very cool. I've never seen that before. All right, this is the last one before we wrap up the video today. We're going to pull it out. Look at this thing. This thing is crazy. It's actually a soft plastic lure. So it is soft plastic. It almost looks like a swim bait, but I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to imitate something called a water dog. It's like a salamander, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people fish with them down in Texas, but I have seen some smaller lizard type things like this before in a creek. Never seen one in a pond or in a lake, but I have seen them in a creek before, so I'm sure a bass would eat it anyways, because bass eat lizards, like a Zoom 8-inch lizard. So this is pretty similar to that. I have no idea how you would fish it. I don't know if this swims or if it floats or how it works, especially because the treble hooks are on the bottom and you tie it up on the top. But that is really cool. That could probably be a video in itself right there, but that is probably my favorite out of this whole entire box. Be sure to comment below, let me know what your favorite is. You can either say what the name of it is or describe it by color, so that way I know. But let me know what you liked out of this tackle box, because this was super fun for me, getting to see what my great grandpa used to catch fish with back whenever he was younger and he was out fishing in the boat and everything. So this was just a really cool experience for me. And that is my cue to go. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it's different. There's not any fishing in this video, but I will go fishing with them. I promise, as long as you guys did enjoy it, I will go fishing with these lures in this tackle box right here. So definitely like this video and leave me a comment. Let me know if you did enjoy it. If you guys do have a grandfather or grandmother or family member that used to fish a lot and you have access to their old equipment, I would definitely recommend going and getting it, going through it, asking if you can go search through it, just because it brings up a lot of old history and a lot of cool stuff as to where fishing started. Because if we didn't have all this stuff that was in this tackle box, we probably wouldn't have the lures that we have now. So it's these original lures that influence what we have today. So it's just an overall cool experience. That's a wrap for today's video. I know a lot of you have frozen water, but still, go catch them.